Hi there and welcome to another radical tutorial. Today we're looking at PowerPoint. We're going to look at 15 beginner tasks. Now remember, do these tasks as I explain them so you'll have a better chance of remembering how to do them. So let's begin. Step 1. Create a title slide. Very simple. Once you open PowerPoint, you are directed to click. Now, for my title slide, I'd like to make it more colorful. I'd like to actually include a picture in the background. So right-click, go to Format Background. If you want, you can put a solid fill. Choose any color you like, for example, and adjust the transparency. That looks okay, but I have a picture that I want to use. So click here, File, to find it on your computer, on my desktop. There, Insert. So there's the picture I want to use in the background. Of course, I can modify the transparency. In this case, I'm going to choose around 50. I'm happy with this. I'll click to add my title here. I can move this box. Actually, the box below, I don't need that. So I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to move this probably around here. That looks good for me. And I can make some small adjustment. Okay, so there's my title slide. Step 2. Create a content slide with levels and bullets. So to create a new slide, you simply have to click where you want that slide to appear and press Enter. Another way to do so is to go to Home, New Slide, and then select from a list of different themes that Office will suggest. By default, if you press Enter, this is the slide theme that appears, title and content. So here we're going to type table of contents. That's the title of the slide. Down here, let's, if you want, you can type within this large box. And actually, this is fine for me this time. I'm going to have a section on beginner tips, a section on intermediate, and advanced. Let's try putting different levels and using bullets. So we have bullets here, but instead, let's put numbers. So select, go up, and instead of bullets, select numbers. Now within beginner, if you press Enter, you see I could squeeze in another section here, but I want to create a subsection. To do so, press Tab. And now this is subsection 1. If I press Enter again, it continues this. If I press Tab another time, I go deeper, one level deeper. So subsection. And of course, you could copy, let's say you have 2 subsections per chapter. You could copy and paste. Generally, a table of contents should not have more than 5, 6, or even 7 points. That's already a lot for the audience to remember. So I wouldn't suggest going deeper than 2 levels. That's enough. So there you go. That's the table of contents. Step 3. Place your logo on each slide corner. So let's create a new slide. And what I want to do is I want to add my logo to each page. Now one way I could do it is I could insert picture and go find my image from my desktop. Insert, and I'll shrink it and place it anywhere I like. Okay, so I like the top right corner. Now I could do this and copy, go to this slide, paste, go to this slide, paste, and so on. But obviously there must be a better way. Let's delete this, and we'll delete this as well. So I'm going to copy. I can actually get rid of it now. And go to View, Slide Master. Now what Slide Master means is the base of each slide. So if you make a change here, it will apply to every possible slide. Let's paste it onto this. We'll put it at the top. If you noticed, it magically or instantly appeared on every other possible slide template. If I move it, it moves on all others as well. Interesting. So let's go see what that does. Let's close this. And now it's appeared on all these slides. If I insert a new slide, it's automatically there. And I can't move this. I can't select it. But perhaps it's redundant to have the logo on the title page, right? So if I want to remove this one but keep it on every other slide, how do I do that? Well, let's go back to View, Slide Master, and you'll notice that this is one level higher than the other themes, the other templates. There are various types, and if you look closely, this is the one, title and content, which normally appears when we press enter. So instead of telling PowerPoint we want the logo on every possible slide, we only want the logo on every slide of title content layout. So let's paste it on this one. So you'll notice none of the others have it, only this one. Let's close it. And now the title slide does not have it, but these do. So if I press enter here, a new title and content slide contains the logo. If I go to new slide, you'll notice that now the PowerPoint icon is on this one only. So if I insert a blank slide, it will not contain it. And that's exactly what I want. Now if I wanted to have the PowerPoint icon, the logo, on every slide except the title one, I'd have to go back to Slide Master, take this, copy, paste, 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 including the blank one here. And these are the various themes for content slides, but not title. So if I close that, okay, apparently one of those is the title. Aha, this one. So delete this one, but keep all the others. There, bingo. So I'll just double check here. Yeah. This is not just useful for logos, icons. If you want to have a particular style of title, so for example, here I have table of contents, but I'd like to make it blue or red, larger, centered, various things like that. You can tell PowerPoint to automatically do that. So let's go back to Slide Master. And in this content, title and content theme, I want this to be bold, centered, and I like this color because that's the theme that I'm currently using. So if I go back, every time I insert this type of slide, the title will be red, centered, and bold. Wow. So that'll save us a lot of time. We won't have to repeat. Okay, cool. Step 4, add slide numbers and a footer. Actually, you'll notice that I've already done that. So how did I do that? Go to Insert, Header and Footer. Usually we don't want this to show up on the title slide. So click this one. Click this to show that you want a footer, and then you can type whatever you want here. For example, your company name would be a good one. You can apply this to all the slides. Remember to tick here to include a slide number. So you see now we have company name, slide 2, and the title slide does not have because we didn't want that. Done. Step 5, create a slide with several text boxes. Okay, so let's rename this slide to text boxes. And to insert one, simply go to Insert, over here, text box. You have two options, horizontal and vertical. Horizontal is the most often used. Text box. You can press enter and type a lot more text. It can be as big as you need it to be, as big as the slide. Now to create another one, again, insert text box and insert whatever text you need. You can press enter and continue. And if you want, you can press tab to create an indent and then continue your text there. If I wanted bullet points, I could select these. And by selecting them and then giving it an indentation, that would look more normal, like there are different levels. Of course, you can modify the font very easily by double-clicking or clicking and highlighting. Make something bold. You could change the color and the size. Very simple, just like Word and Excel. Another way to add or to use text boxes, let's add another one here. Text box. Okay, you can right-click on the border and you can give it a fill color or outline color. For example, light gray fill, outline red, and I'll make the line wider so it's more visible. There. So now it's an actual box because we see the box. I will copy and paste. Actually, here's a shortcut. Copy D is for duplicate. Duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. So I'm going to show you different ways that you can align text boxes. So there's one. Control A to select everything inside. Let's align that to the middle. We don't need these two. Let's duplicate this one. Align everything to the right. Okay, so just like Word, you have lots of options here for the font, the size, the formatting of text. And if you want to create more space, go over here, line spacing, and there you can stretch it out, bring it back to the middle if that's what you like. One more thing you can do with text boxes is I'll duplicate this one. You can rotate it. Okay, 360, it's up to you. And when you insert one, if you want, you can create a vertical text box where the text will also be displayed vertically. But again, you can simply rotate if you want to get the same effect. So there, text boxes. Step 7, create a table for 10 keyboard shortcuts. Okay. Now, if you want to add a table, you could just simply click here. I'm going to paste one on the side. Okay. We're going to build this one together. So let's create a table by just simply clicking here, insert table. And if you know the number of rows and columns, great, type it in. If you don't worry, and let's just start like that. If once you've entered the table, you realize, I need more columns, I need more rows or fewer, simply hover to the side of the row until you see a black arrow, right click, and click insert. Now if you click the triangle, it'll give you options of where the rows will be inserted. So you could insert below, or above, below, below. I'll do this several times. There. And since we only need 2 columns, I will do the same thing, hover over it until you see the black arrow, and I can actually drag to select 3, right click, delete. Delete columns. So now we have the same, but I don't particularly like the color. I want to stick with a red theme. So if you want, you can select the table and go to Design, and there are a bunch of options here. Now, it doesn't show every color. If you want, you can modify to your liking, but I think for me, this will be suitable. So here we have 2 cells which are merged. So drag and select both of them, right click, go down to merge cell. Now we have 1. Of course, we also want the alignment to be centered. So go to Home and Center. Now the cursor is here. The table can be resized as you wish. The middle line is here. It's not very obvious, but it's still there. The first shortcut is Control B. That is for bold. I prefer when everything is aligned to the center. It's easier to see that your table contains two columns. So that's how you build a table. 3 very cool shortcuts in PowerPoint specifically. F5 to start your slideshow. And while you're in the slideshow, pressing B will give you a black slide. W will give you a white slide. When would this be useful? When you want to take a side note and talk about a side point and not have your audience remain focused on the PowerPoint slide. If you're projecting on a whiteboard, for example, and you wanted to take notes, ask questions from the audience, and record their answers, you could press W, and then you can use the board as normal. Pressing W again or B again would just bring back the original slide. So very useful for presenters in case you don't have 2 whiteboards for your presentation. So there you go. Take the time to write these down and later on use them. Step 8. Create a simple flowchart using shapes. Down here. So I will use shapes from the Insert ribbon. Choose this one. I'll draw it to the size that I want, more or less. If you double click, you can insert text. You can copy paste to create more, or you can Control D for duplicate, or another way is while you've selected one object, press and hold Control, then drag away. And if you do this again and again and again, it's quite quick, and you can immediately place these objects where you want them to land, the duplicates. Okay, so I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. So I'm going to name this one Step 2, Step 3A, and Step 3B. And this one is an error in the process, which I want to identify. Normally in a flowchart, we want arrows. So let's go to Insert, Shapes. Now be careful, we have arrows under the line section, but take the time to look and really see what it is. This is a line. This is a connector. This is a connector as well. So let's use connectors. Why? Because they will automatically stick to a particular object. And if you move this object, the arrow will follow it. So that's very useful, because if it's just an arrow, it will not stay attached. So what we can do is we can duplicate this one. Same thing, move. Okay, and attach there. We'll hold Control and drag away. Put it there. Okay, you can modify the arrows as well. Click, go to Shape, Weight, make them thicker, and you can make modifications, of course, to the shapes as well. So shape fill, well, let's go for a lighter blue, and shape outline, go for a dark blue. Weight, shape effects, feel free to add shadows and things like that too. Bold, bigger, black. Now let's say you've made changes to one shape and you have many other shapes to update now. Select this shape, use the Format Painter, click and apply. If you have several shapes, double click the Format Painter and then apply to each shape. Once you're done, press Escape. That's it. You can do the same for the arrows. So select the arrow that you like, double click Format Painter, apply, apply, apply. That was quick. Now, of course, you may want to make some modifications so that people can quickly see that this is an error. So I'm going to change the color, red, red, and shape outline red as well. There. So there's my flowchart. Step 10. Group all shapes, then move and resize the group. Okay, so I want to just make minor moves here so that the flowchart looks good. It's a bit more compact and easier to see. Okay. Once things are kind of aligned with each other, I'm going to save and create these as a group. So to do that, one way is to try and select all of the pieces that you have in here. But you have to be very careful that everything has been selected. This one is not. So what I would suggest is on this slide, press Control A to select everything. And then while holding Control, unselect what you don't need. Okay, don't worry about this one. It can't be selected. So now that all the arrows and these boxes have been selected, press Control G. That means they've been grouped and they are now one item. So if I move, they stay together. So now this is very useful for adjusting the placement of this, because if you move them one by one, that could take forever. To undo this or to separate them, just select the group, press Control Shift G. And now you can make small adjustments, retype. Once done, select them all. The slow way would be to Control, select, click one by one, or the shortcut I showed you just now by controlling all. Press Control G, and now we have everything together. Great. Step 11. Enable ruler and grid, then center the flowchart. Let's go to View and check Ruler. And if you want, you can see grid lines or at least guides. Guides tell you where the exact center is. So now we can move and kind of align according to what we think is the exact middle of the slide. Of course, lean back and have a look from a different angle. And if you're happy with that, there we go. If you don't like this and you find it distracting, okay, uncheck the guides. I recommend always keeping the ruler, because when you move your mouse, you can see a dotted line above telling you where it is positioned horizontally and vertically. So just by having that, you can see if you're aligned properly or where you're placing various objects. Step 12. Insert a large shape and arrange it behind the flowchart. Insert, shape. Let's just put a rounded box here. And let's make it very large. Whoops. Okay, what happened? Keep in mind that as you place objects on a slide, there are layers. So obviously this one is on the front layer. To place it back, on Home, you can find this under Arrange. Or just now we were in Format, you can see the same icon where you can bring an object forward or send it backwards. Let's go to Home, Arrange, and we want to bring it to, or send it to the back. Send it to back. So everything else is in front of it. Okay. Oops, little problem here. The arrows are blue, so let's change this color, obviously. Remember, if you move this one, the flowchart stays there. So what you could do is group that by selecting it, pressing Control, and selecting the flowchart, Control G, and now we have a larger group which contains the background of the flowchart. Cool. Remember to align it. Step 13. Create a WordArt title for one slide. Let's go to this slide. And instead of using this title format, let's just delete that. We'll go to Insert. And here under WordArt, you have some presets, some including 3D or reflection or different variations of formatting. So let's try this one. Of course, you can adjust the font style, the size, the color as well. I think this is okay. And once that's done, remember, most things that you input into PowerPoint or Word as well can be formatted using the Format Painter. So for step 14, use the Format Painter to apply the style to all slide titles. Let's use that. So select the style that you like. This is what I want to apply to others. Double click the Format Painter. Now let's go to other slides. We'll click here, click here, click here. Now sometimes it just selects one word. Sometimes you'll have to drag like this. And there, that's how you make multiple changes using the Format Painter. Once you're done, escape. There we go. Step 15, use Print Preview to see how to print handouts. So if I'm done with my PowerPoint, here I have 6 slides, and I want to print handouts for my audience, go to File, go down to Print, and over here, under Slides, right now the default is there will be 1 slide per page. I'd rather try and squeeze a little bit more together, so maybe 2. Well, let's try 3. There's not a lot of text, so as long as it's large enough to easily be read, I think I'm okay with that. If you click here, make sure Scale to Fit Paper is selected. If not, you lose a little bit of space on around the edges. So we'll go here, Scale to Fit Paper. So if you want to print, you can go there. Otherwise, go back to your document. So there you go, 15 beginner tasks for PowerPoint. If you thought that was easy and you feel confident now, why not watch PowerPoint Intermediate Functions, where you'll learn a bit more of the difficult stuff.